Eddie Murphy is a Detroit cop on vacation in Beverly Hills. Eddie Murphy, Beverly Hills Cop.
An 80s cop movie? Does it stand up to today's standards? Let's find out as we start the show.
Not twice, not right.
Know what he did? He put another record on.
You need dumb people in horror movies.
(1984) Beverly Hills Cop starring Eddie Murphy. This is my pick. No themes this time, just a pick from out of the ether. But obviously, I never do this thing alone. So, joining me, the executive consultant.
Hi, everybody. There's no theme, but there is a pattern with this movie this month, if you ask me, but we'll talk about that.
And rounding it out, Jim.
Yeah, I'll be picking my movies last. You two will pick your movies first, and I will not go first. Okay? Because clearly the theme was copied from the movie that I picked. What's your movie about? Oh, okay, let me pick Beverly Hills Cop. Oh, sure. Okay, let me pick another cop-esque movie by Chris that I can't remember the name of. Sure.
Hold on. Beverly Hills Cop, In the Heat of the Night, and White Chicks.
Sure, about two undercovers. Okay? Y'all will pick your movies first, and then I will wait.
What is wrong with it being somewhat uniform?
No, sir. I want to do my own thing and pick my own movies because I find them interesting. Not because we're doing themes of the month or Happy Shamrock Month or none of that nonsense. Okay?
Sham what?
Shamrock.
I will say that I did just pick this one because I was like, oh, I've been seeing a lot of clips online and YouTube showing Beverly Hills Cop. I was like, oh, man, I haven't seen that movie in a while. Boom, let's go with it. So you can thank the YouTube algorithm actually for my pick. But my pick is Beverly Hills Cop, 1984, Eddie Murphy. Man, I remember when I first saw this, and subsequent times I kept watching it. But I'm not going to go too far into it. We got Eddie Murphy, star power, bringing his unique comedy and style to this movie. As you see throughout, his signature laugh is there. It's kind of waned over the years, but, that was definitely part of his repertoire. And, we've got this kind of turns out to be a kind of buddy cop movie, even though they're from different precincts. And it's also kind of a mystery, trying to solve the case. Only has so much time to do it. And the threat of losing his job, even if he does try. But that's enough for me. What are your thoughts on Beverly Hills Cop? Who wants to go first?
You want to go, Chris, or you want me to go?
Oh, you got it.
Okay, so, when I was watching this, and let me just look this up as I say this now. I know a couple of months back we did 48 Hours with him and Nick Nolte. Now that's an 82 film.
That was over a year ago.
And a couple of months ago will be 12. Can I speak? You asked if you wanted to go first. You said no. You can go first. All of a sudden you got something to say. There you go, Record Rock. Now look. So a couple of months ago we did 48 Hours, as I said before. You edit that out, Chris. Okay. pay the person that you're supposedly already working for. All right. Now, a couple months ago, we watched 48 Hours, and that was with Nick Nolte, and like the next doctor said, it's a buddy cop movie and everything like that. So I was very curious because I had never seen this movie, and I know he has some kind of rapport based on the trailers or scenes that I've seen with the two of the cops, the main cops from the LA precinct, okay, or the Beverly Hills precinct. So I said, let me see the feel of this. And it was a lot better for me. I forgot the director of 48 Hours. But as I don't know if that was a landmark movie for his career or not. I don't remember that off the top of my head. I did not think that it was a very complimentary movie to Eddie Murphy. Okay. Especially when you look at the other movies that he was able to do as his star rose in Hollywood. And I would even compare it to another movie that I'm going to compare this movie, 1984, Beverly Hills Cop 2, to 83's Trading Places. I think that his performance in Trading Places, this sounds like I'm going on final thoughts though, but I'm not, is even better in that movie, and the flow of it is better than this one here. Though I will say that there are nuggets in this movie that I think are outstanding. And by nuggets, I mean sequences, right? Or sections of the movie that I think are hitting on all marks. And it's not cheese with it, 80s cheese or anything like that. It's just, hey, this is a good solid movie with the story and storyline that we're following behind it. So I'll come back to that a little bit later. But I did think his performance, I have to say, was better than in Trading Places. And I'm very curious what that is, if the director got that out of him, if he was allowed to improv more. I don't know what it is, but it felt more like an Eddie Murphy that we would see later on in his career than this one did. This one seemed like he was holding back some. Okay, if that makes sense. And that could have been good for different reasons because of the character and the storyline that he was doing in this movie and that he had. But I did see more of Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. I'm curious if y'all understand what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying. I just don't agree. But at the same
Let
time,
me talk while you're talking.
It's fine. You were
I don't know
asking
why
the question.
Chris
I was
thinks that.
answering the question.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought we just talk over each other. I'm sorry. Good.
Because you thought you asked the question. I was answering. And
No, let me. Where's my record, Ralph icon? There you go. Let me disappear for 30 seconds. All right,
Record Ralph.
Yeah.
It's not. I changed it. But look, so I never saw Trading Places, so I can't compare it to Trading Places. But what I did talk about was 48 Hours. Okay. Right. And this is going into a little bit of what I was saying. I actually thought this flowed better than 48 Hours.
Yes, I agree.
Enjoy, and I liked 48 Hours, right? I think I gave it a thumbs up, but I did enjoy this a lot more thoroughly. And this is not even getting into my thumbs up, thumbs down. I mean, obviously I spoiled it, but that's fine. But I just felt like the movie flowed a lot better. I felt like his chemistry with everybody was a lot better, not just one person who just hates him the whole time. You see the maturity of the characters in this movie, how they learn from him, how he learned from them. There was a lot about this movie that was like very, as a fellow colleague on another show says, digestible. But I can't compare it to Trading Places, and I think that was your primary. I'm not necessarily argument, but that was your primary focus you were trying to
yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's a good point. I mean, this movie came out I think in 1984.
Yeah.
And Trading Places came out in 1983. So it's just amazing because I remember, I didn't watch a lot of Eddie Murphy until my first Eddie Murphy movie that I can recall, I think was Shrek that I saw. Okay. Right. And that came out in like 99, I think. So I used to hear so much about his movies and how funny he was, and and how he pretty much dominated the 80s as far as the African American race. And I'm starting to see why. And kudos to you. And once again, I already spoiled it, but kudos to you, Next Doctor, for picking this movie. I've heard good things about it. When you picked it, I was like, you know what? I never got a chance to see it, and I'm interested in seeing it. The other one was Coming to America. We let me see that, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And as much as I like Coming to America, and I did, and I haven't seen the sequel yet. I really, really did like Beverly Hills Cop. I just thought I watched it, and I watched most of my movies. When I post on my Instagram, the executive consultant, when I post on my Instagram and I say, hey, now watching, I'm at work watching this movie. And every time somebody came in that damn lobby, I was like, what the freak do you want? Why are you interrupting my movie? And I swear this happened all day today when I was watching this movie. So kudos to you. But I'm sorry, James, there you can get, if you weren't done, and get back to your point. I was just
and if you don't mind, Doctor, let me just tag along to that. I agree with you. For me, I did come up watching his movies. I think it will be an interesting aside to see what you think, because I think Harlem Nights is often slept on, but I think arguably that's his best movie, because literally he has complete control of that. Is his movie that he made, that he wanted to do his love letter and everything like that, especially to those comedians who came before him and comedians who came before him. So one day we really have to do Harlem Nights, and I'd be very curious to see what you think of that. But yeah, but I was not a fan of 48 Hours. I will say that it felt like a movie that just was trying to be edgy for its time. I thought a lot of the, and I don't want to sound like Captain America when I say this, a lot of the first half of that movie's language was in there simply so that it could be jarring to certain audiences, probably. In 81, that's what it read. It felt like to me, and how it read in the delivery and everything like that. It wasn't until they had finally reconciled, and I think it's after the, second or third bar trip or whatever like that, that they were just two guys. Hey, we're going to do the job. It was too much of Chud the Builder for me to enjoy it, because it didn't seem like it was necessary to the plot, because I'm like, where's this coming from? There's no back. So now, if you need to have that in there, fine. I'm not opposed to that, but there has to be some explanation. And there was like no explanation, just this woman who liked this cop, and then he sees Eddie Murphy, and he's like, hey, my name is Chud. I didn't get that, and I didn't understand that, and they never explained that. So for me, it was a harder watch. I much more enjoyed the last third or second half, whatever it falls into, of that movie. Then it felt like a movie that actually had something to say, instead of we're trying to be all in the family in the 80s. This one, though, I will say the Detroit section, I really, really enjoyed. I loved his back and forth with his not commanding officer, with his, I don't know if they still consider commanding officer, but his boss. In that,
his boss, you call him boss, but yeah, you can call it his CEO.
Is this okay? In Detroit, it felt like he saw him coming up. Again, this is an older black man in the 80s, so he probably came in there right when they were desegregating or whatever, that era. And here's Eddie Murphy, who's a great detective, as he says, a good detective, and he might have seen something in himself, and he's like, hey, you don't want to mess this up for yourself. I know we have a leg in this city, but don't mess it up, because it's still precarious. And he was taking him under his wing and everything like that. He knew when he was BSing him, and he gave him a certain room and wiggle room, because he knew he was such a good cop. I liked his rapport with Paul Reiser's character and the other cops in the precinct. It was great. I said Paul Reiser was getting all those roles in the 80s. I don't know who he knew, but he still knows them today. But it was great. It was great back and forth. It was funny in a naturalistic way. When he says, stay out of this so-and-so to Paul Reiser, and Paul Reiser said, hey, this is my locker. What am I doing here? It was just a great work banter, and it felt like they had been working there together for at least a number of years, that they were all comfortable enough to be themselves. I love the line when he goes at the end, hey, Chief, he didn't chew it all away. It's still some of that there. And then the camera gives a little pan down. It was a great beat, okay? I love the fact that there was a little class commentary in Beverly Hills, where they say, in Beverly Hills, we don't do anything unless we got a warrant. Because he doesn't say it, but the implication is these people are too wealthy and too connected for us to get away with that. You know what I mean? I like the fact that those cops never seemed to have a problem with him because he was a black man, and it was 1984. I thought that was good. I didn't need to see that again. I really enjoyed that. And I like that it was a generational difference, and that again, in the same way that Eddie Murphy's captain back in his or lieutenant back in his precinct was looking out, Judge Reinhold's partner was looking out for him. You know what I mean? He wasn't close to retirement, but they're looking out for this young guy. Like at the end during the shootout, he's like, "You ever do that again? I'm gonna shoot you myself. Don't I'm trying to show you the right way, kid. You know what I mean? You got a long couple of years ahead of you. You know what I mean? I'm midway there, or whatever like that." I like Ronnie Cox's character. I thought he performed that well. But again, I just go back to overall in the early Eddie Murphy years when he's establishing himself outside of SNL. I still think his best performance to me was Trading Places. And I know, Chris, you said that you hadn't gotten to see that yet. But once we all circle back to all his movies, at some point or another, I'm curious how they'll rank for you. You know,
I'm sure there'll be a theme in there somewhere.
Yes, it sounds like I'm going back on my word, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
We will. And you know what? The one thing I'll say, and I'm sorry, next time I'll let you go because I really did enjoy this movie thoroughly. But I think one thing that James said that was really good is that I feel like, and he didn't say this per se, I felt like every character played their role very well. Every actor and actress played that part well, and I think every character never overstayed their welcome, if that makes sense. I felt like everybody played a part. I love the scene where he went to go meet the, and I don't remember the character's name, forgive me, but the scene where he went to go meet his childhood friend.
Yeah.
And he was talking to the guy, and he was like, because you know what, when I was picking the name, the first thing I thought of was, I'm a businessman. He said that in the show. I'm a businessman. I was like, that's going to be it. But then when he's in this, there, he's like, you made this, how much did it cost? He said $100,000 or $300,000. So he said, get the F out of here. I was like, oh, that's close. That might be the way he said it twice. Like, it's because the guy came kind of hostile, not rude, but kind of hostile, and then he changed up quick because Eddie Murphy is very good with that. It was just a lot to it. And when he got thrown out the window, I have to admit I was cracking up. Because he
was stunned. He said, "Number one, how did you throw me through the window?" I'm insulted.
He got thrown through the window. He didn't have a mark on him, and he got arrested. Now, granted, it reminded me back in high school when I got punched in the chest and got sent to the dean's office. But it was bad memories there. Bad memories there. Shout out to Damien Sean Howell. Next, Doctor, to you.
Well, I just wanted to comment on, the Trading Places. I have seen Trading Places, and I think probably one of the reasons why you feel that his performance in there is probably better is because that is more so a straight comedy, whereas this one was an action comedy.
Yeah,
and the comedy parts, I think those beats, Eddie Murphy hit them spectacularly. You really get to see his chops with comedy, but then with the action, it's more so the 80s trope. There's nothing spectacular about it. It works for the movie, but there's nothing outstanding with it. It flows into that. But with the comedy part, boom, Eddie's on it. Everyone there plays off, and it works really well. And I think because it mixes in the action, which kind of changes the pace of the comedy, that's probably why you feel that, it's not really his best stuff. And, I don't know if I would say that, what was that movie Harlem Nights? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I would say that's underrated. I think that's maybe
not for the Black community. I would say,
I think that's what it is. I think in our community, highly rated. Overall, I guess I'll probably agree with you. Overall, people probably aren't giving it the props that it really does deserve. I mean, that's a powerhouse movie.
I agree.
And, we definitely should visit that one because that is a powerhouse movie. When we're talking about Beverly Hills Cop, from the very beginning, kind of mentioned the cigarette scene in the truck. I mean, showing his comedy there, showing how, he explains it later. Hey, I couldn't just accept the 2,000. Sure I could have, but then they were realized, no one's really going to accept $2,000 for this. And if I just accepted, they would have figured, oh, he must be a cop because I'm getting up from 5,000 down to 2. Who's not going to complain about that?
Mm-hmm.
So it really does, kind of showcase what his captain was saying, how he's a great cop, a great detective, because he recognized that. He didn't just take it. You think back, man, okay, you could have just made the bus. They gave you money for the goods, but then, you have to actually sell it. And he was able to really sell it. And it shows all throughout the movie how he's able to just analyze a situation and just flow with it using his wits to get what he needs. He gets into the golf club or whatever the horror was. He gets into that by pretending to be the lover for the guy. I'm about to say something about Beverly Hills Cop too. That's a different movie. When he's in the customs place, as soon as he sees that security guard, he's like, oh, great. This is my opportunity to get some information. Boom, turns it on there. I'm an inspector. He really does showcase his skills. And I think it's also hilarious when, they put the first team, Taggart and Rosewood on them, banana and tailpipe, classic. And then, the other detectives are making fun of them, but then they get a shot at him. And I mean, even quicker, he's like, oh, okay, so they took the other guys out and gave me you guys, huh? Okay. Well, I don't really like y'all, so I'm just make it even worse. He got rid of them, quick.
Mm-hmm.
Speeding off through the red light. Beautiful. But that all of that, because I think you talked about all of that, goes back to them finding respect for him too. He is an effective detective, and they see that.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end, when he goes off to, he's supposed to be escorted out, and Billy calls it in and say, hey, go to this warehouse, check out this stuff. They know that Foley's with them. And it could have just been like, oh no, I'll meet you at the edge of the city. You're supposed to be at the edge of the city. They know, they respect that he knows what he's doing. As you said, captain of the that precinct, they got to do it by the book because these are rich people, and if you don't have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, they're going to wiggle out. Even sometimes when you do, they will. So they know they've got to do it by the book, but they also know that if they don't, if they kind of wiggles it in there, they can probably work with that. And I think that's what the Beverly Hills captain saw at the end. He was okay. They're there. You know what? I can make this work. He actually was like, I'm a cop. I can make this work. He respected it. Went down there. That's what he said. Hey, we got an undercover on the scene. And I liked how at the end, talking to the chief, he made up all that BS, just like Foley did to him. He did that with the captain, and his people respected him, saw it this time, and followed through. Like sometimes you do have to bend it a little bit, so make sure that you can get what you need done. I also want to shout out the soundtrack in this movie. Spectacular for an 80s movie. Axel has his own theme, one that I've loved that since the beginning. You've got the rest of the music in there hitting, all of the right notes. It just helps the movie flow. A spectacular soundtrack for this one.
I like when he tried to weave that joke in the end, and his boss was like, "You expect me to believe any of that?" He's smiling. He's like, "That's nice, y'all getting along together. That's great. What happened?" And then he said, "Okay, write up this Fugazi report then tonight immediately."
But he didn't lie to him. He's like, "You expect me to do that?" He's like, "That's the report I'm submitting."
Yeah.
He still stayed within his own, kind of rule set.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't lie to him. He was like, listen, this is the report I'm putting out there. So,
What did you think about when he switched it from 2 tours to 3 a night? What did you think about that, Chris? Did you enjoy that, or were you against that?
I can't say that I'm familiar with what you're talking about.
You remember when he came aboard the Enterprise and he did it from, instead of 2 rotations, he did it to 3?
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that.
Hold on, let me ask you.
Go ahead.
Because Picard, he had to go on a secret mission. You remember, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so when he came on, when Ronnie Cox came on, he said, "Now listen, I want three rotations. 3. We can't do 3." Back then, that was his, his Axel Foley. Riker was like, "We can't do 3. That's crazy. We only got like 2,500 people on this ship." And he looked at him. He's like, "Do what I just told you." You know what I mean? Did you like that part?
I did like when he forced Marina Sirtis to put on a uniform.
Yeah, you're an officer, aren't you? What are you doing dressing like a whore?
It's not exactly how he did. He just said it was professionalism.
Also, like the part where he fell out of the roof of the window after he killed Bob Martin. You know, he got his just desserts. You know.
Look, Chris, did you like the scene? Okay. Did you like the scene when he solved the murder and the drug case, and then he said he was going to be home in time for cornflakes? Did you like that?
Yeah. You know, I see that. Look, you know what? A scene that I do want to mention, and we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But when he first gets to the hotel, and he does his little thing, he finagles getting up there. He says, "You want to have me?" He had to. We're not going to say it, but. Then they said, "Okay, I'm going to give you the single room price." And you told him how much, and the look on his face just reminds me.
I want to know how much that
I'm
was.
watching this for the first time, right?
Yeah.
So I know $235 is a lot of money, right? I mean, it's a lot of money now still, but it's a lot of money for a hotel night back then. He's like, it's not expensive for Beverly Hills. $235 a night. That was also possible.
Can you imagine?
$235 a night. For a suite, but he got it for a single room rate.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like how much that had to be, like $1,000 back then or something.
Yeah, today's money, that's probably $1,035.
Yeah,
not $235, because I know in New York to stay in Times Square, it's going to cost you $500 for one night. So, $235, I would have been so happy about that. All right, well, find out what we're reviewing next Tuesday and this coming Thursday. Stay with us. You're watching Unpopular Reviews.
I don't understand at all. Why just her classroom? Why only hers?
Where are our children?
Matthew, where are you? Where did you go?
This is where the story really starts.
I'm a police officer.
Look, they pay you $162.39 a week just to look at bodies. Why can't you look at this one?
Why can't you look at it for yourself?
But don't you push me, boy!
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
What kind of people are you?
In the heat of the night.
And that is what's coming up on Unpopular Review. But we are back with Beverly Hills Cop 1984 to give you our final thoughts. Gentlemen, what do you got?
You want me to go? Okay. I have a couple jobs, so I appreciate the fact that this shouted out 2 of them. One being at the hotel, that was a favorite scene of mine, $235 a night. The second being at a strip club, which is my second job, and the entire scene, he was doing this. So I decided to give my thumbs up to the thumbs down by doing this. Now, Eddie, I'll give you this. You have better to do it than me. It's hard to do it to this song. But I had to do this without getting copyright. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ask me if this gets a thumbs up or thumbs down, it's going to get a thumbs up. I enjoyed this movie. I'm going to be like our good colleague Vic. I can't wait for the sequel. And I understand there's 3 of them. So I'm going to watch all 3 of them. Shout out to you. Oh my God. Okay, maybe not. But shout out to you, Next Doctor. James, to you.
What? Oh, okay. Thank you, Chris, for this music that you're playing. Listen, I'm gonna say the standout scene for me is the whole, not even scene, but section in the beginning when his best friend comes back from doing however many years he did away, and then even after he got out, he was a little out of police, and then after he got out, he was still in LA for some time. He hadn't seen him in that long, and they're coming back from the club. You know what I mean? They're both getting wasted or whatever, climbing the stairs, and he says, "Okay, stay here. You know, don't fall down the steps. You know what I mean? Thanks, Chris, for freezing. Don't fall down the steps. You know what I mean? I'm opening up the door." And he said, "Hey, let me ask you something. When you got pinched for stealing that car, how come you never told on me?" Which leads him to believe that they were kids. So he got like at least 10 years or so, you know, because Axel's supposed to be like 20 something. And he's like, "You don't know why?" And he's like really shocked, like, "You don't know why I would never tell on you?" And he's like, "I love you. You're my best friend." And it's such the way that it's played, it's not played for laughs. It's not played for some double entendre or whatever like that. Like, he sincerely means it. "You're my best friend. I would have never told on you. It didn't matter the amount of time." And it's really telling because even though he's working for those guys and he knows how dangerous those guys are, he still stole those bail bonds, okay? You know, or those Frank marks or whatever they were, you know? So he wasn't afraid to do that. But his friend telling him that was never going to happen, and it was out of the question. And it speaks to their high opinion of each other, the same way that lady who works at the art gallery, when they came in there and they pressed him, she said it was very weird. Something's going down. She would not give up Axel Foley either. So it speaks to character, and I really love that because you could blink and miss it, but it's a real good character building exercise in that dialogue, and to not just say it, that, hey, he's a great friend, but to show it in their actions and what they're willing to suffer or go through as a result of being loyal to him. So I really did enjoy that. And we see the beginnings of that. I presume they build more on that in Beverly Hills Cop 2. I've never seen the other movies in the series, but that they were beginning to see that, especially after that scene he's talking about in the strip club when he's like, "Hey," and he broke down how he thinks about different scenarios and people and everything like that. When he's like, "Isn't it a little too hot to be wearing that heavy coat?" You know what I mean? Look at his partner there beside him. You know what I mean? "I'm going to take care of him. You handle this guy here." And the fact that he is a capable fighter and that guy only got to jump on him literally because he snuck up behind him and hit him with the butt of the gun. Again, I still think that it was a better performance for me in Trading Places. I think that movie is hilarious. But I thought your point was correct in that it's not a pure comedy. This is a story. It's an action comedy. I'm going to give this movie a thumbs up because I think it deserves it.
All right, 2 thumbs up. And, you know, I think for me, my standout is that strip club one because of the way he assessed it. You know, throughout the movie, he's really, you know, showing how he is a good detective. But right there, I mean, it's kind of obvious to the audience. Mm-hmm. You know, you've got these 2 people coming in there, you know, they putting the camera on them. So obviously these are people of interest. Mm-hmm. But, you know, no one else is paying attention, but he clocks it as soon as they come in the door. Mm-hmm. You know, he's there chilling, relaxing, you know, also thinking about his case, mm-hmm. but he's still on the job in his mind.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes to show that he is really a superb detective to just clock that, talk about it, assess situation, get the other cops on board, and boom. So obviously, well, not obviously, but it is my pick. And, you know, this is one that I've seen multiple times from when it first came out, you know, when I was too young to really have been watching this. So now, definitely a thumbs up. for me for Beverly Hills Cop 1984. Well, there you have it, ladies and gents, and everyone in between. 3 thumbs up. Beverly Hills Cop 1984. Spectacular movie. Maybe we'll go into 2 and 3. Who knows? There's no more themes. We'll see. But for the I'm a businessman now, and James, I'm the next doctor. You've been watching Unpopular Review, and we'll see you on the next one. Let's vibe out in the strip club. And don't forget to push a kid.